What's this? PC 98 games? Pixel art? That's disgusting. Ooh, nice. Much better. Did you know? Japan had PCs. Many were very popular as gaming platforms or otherwise, like the PC-98, FM Towns, the Sharp 68000, the MSX, and the
Dendy, please play Dendy. Dendy so good, best.
Even Windows and DOS had a bit of a foothold, certainly once the Y2K era started hitting with heavy hitters such as Bible Black. But Apple not quite so much. Like by 90s global Macintosh standards of fame, it certainly wasn't bad, but it wasn't great neither. And yet, some of the coolest, experimentalist, ambitiousest, and interestingest JPPC games came out for Mac PCs, often even entirely exclusively. See, while I said what I said, that Mac standards thing weighs heavier than one might think, as Japan was actually Apple's second biggest market during the 90s, even outdoing the US. This was mainly due to business applications, as Japan had their whole own version of macOS called Kanji Talk. Not just translating apps, but also redoing the whole UI to fit how Japanese folks were used to inputting text, as things was formatted differently than how DOS be. Something that also went over well was just how Mac PCs would look, being either smaller or more colorful, thus meshing better with Japanese design trends of the time too. And so, while as a gaming platform it may have not been all that compared to the others, its popularity from Apple's point of view as a salaryman's PC also, of course, meant that many indie programmers and hobbyists would be familiar with it, and that Apple themselves wouldn't have minded a bit of that PC gaming pie. And thus, games were made. Weird, edgy, experimental games. And to talk about those would require starting with Synergy Interactive.
Looks like those jerks are loose again. Now I gotta find me some
Anime looks like this. Change my mind. So it's the 90s, right? And Wild Woody just released a global acclaim on the Sega CD, boasting everything from bat controls to uncensored mermaid titties and fucking, like, goddamn fucking... I mean, just look at this shit.
Whoa, big fella! You got a name, leadhead?
Call me Woody.
Wild Woody!
Bruh. Shut the fuck up. Notable though is this FMV. This early, crusty, garbage-ass FMV with shit clipping into each other all over the place. It's fucked up. I could be like, this is early, it's like 95. To which I will say, bitch, no. D came out in 1995 too, and look at D.
And now you know you must leave. I feel myself changing.
Much better. On the real though, I love this shit. But also, on the real though, you got this company called Synergy out here already been dropping shit since 1990 motherfucking 1. Starting off with Alice, a game for both Windows and Mac that a good few years before Myst did Myst cooler than Myst. Putting you in a big interactive museum with interactables, cool audio and visuals, and really just a whole bunch of lol look at what we can do attitudes. Like these really stank early 3D hallways. Essentially though, the game is just about triggering art. Music, paintings, animations, sounds, just whatever really. Going about a big old building, opening up a drawer and finding a water and fish in it, and a forest with a cat in another. And all this would set the stage for what Synergy Interactive would done gone be about. Interactive experience type games. Working with visual artists, movie directors, cool composers, painters, and using their high-level skills at Silicon Graphics to make some dank fucking shit. Which they did with their second game, L-Zone. Doing Myst even mistier than Myst 1 year before Myst. Putting you in a big deserted cyber city and letting one dick about up and out with the technology here to figure out and intuit yourself what happened and do. It's pretty cool. Now, at this point, you may begin to wonder
if they were so great at outmisting Myst before Myst, then why does nobody know them?
And well, releasing games on the Pippin is probably one thing, but also their work mostly resonated outside of video games. Goddamn, Guillermo del Toro cites them as an influence on his films. They nearly made a game with David Lynch once that would have been called Woodcutters from Fiery Ships, and they produced a title with the legends and possibly inventors of penis music, The Residents, called Bat Day on the Midway, in which you fucking mind control sick twisted carnies to find out which one of them was sick and twisted enough to do a murder. And the reason why they got this artsy attention in the first place was primarily because of their third game, Gadget, released the same year as Myst and not even being on a comparable level anymore.
I think the coffee was drugged. Next thing I knew, I was tied up in a chair. This tall guy starts talking to me, and he's laughing all the time. I don't remember much after that. The sound of a machine starting up rang through the room. A lot of whirling lights came together in one sheaf, then shafts of light stabbed into my optic nerves.
Okay. Like a fair few of Lynch's works, it can have these ever-lumbering, always unnerving drones and a strong sense of uncanniness. I feel like the folks working on this knew what 90s CG actually looked like, not blinded by ambitions or illusions of realism, but instead fully embracing how fucked up, creepy, and unnatural these shits tended to look. The somber, rust-like tinged, overexposed lighting, the often confrontational and stark character framing, the great use of distance, like this here train conductor man going from miles away after a few steps to suddenly bang being in face, the cavernous, oddly lit, vast empty spaces that shatter any hope of any area feeling regular. The animations with heads and eyes snapping towards you upon speaking, the dialogue being more than a bit terse and oblique as everyone speaks cryptically yet super directly, as if they all know you and why you're here. And the fact that you're almost exclusively engaging with weird, cold, alien-like machines make for frame after frame after frame of weird, off-putting cool shit. The whole game feels like you're uncovering something that you shouldn't be uncovering. A genuinely obscure, barely documented, potentially haunted game that's actually very playable on modern Windows through this repackaged thingy by Zomslayer. It's what you've been seeing here this whole time rather than any legit Mac shit, and I really recommend that you check it out if you want an easily accessible intro into what the rest of this video will be about. Whoa, hey, dang, you certainly made some human graphics, alright. Anyway, Gadget and some later games aside, like the JRPG? Yellow Brick Road? This would really be the most game that Synergy would ever be. And I say that fully realizing that Gadget has no puzzles and that all you really do is click on things to advance stuff. Shit's evolved past puzzles. Like I said, it's not even on a comparable level to Myst anymore. Nothing goofy and obtuse about it. I mean, hey, Synergy wouldn't even call themselves a game studio, opting instead for multimedia firm, which sort of makes sense, honestly. Not just because it's fittingly pretentious and because their games are more like interactive experiences anyway, but also because some of their titles just honestly weren't games and instead were ways to dispense other media through games media or games through non-games media. For instance, they made a Mac game that ran on fucking QuickTime called Underworld. It never finished, likely due to it supposedly running in QuickTime, but you would just be triggering video files and shit. Kinda like a big lavish ass DVD menu before DVD menus were even a thing. And before Alice even, they dropped a Mac exclusive CD called Refiction, which, while very hard to research, all of this is, like, goddamn, may have been the first ever thing to release CG on CD, but that was mostly just a collection of renders, music, other little experiments, and interactive knickknacks. It's just unlike anything else, really, other than, again, DVD menus or the later to exist interactivity centers. Only those was for kids, and these defo ain't. Also, this is their only long-running series, but yeah, they were doomed to be obscure, only releasing on Mac stuff primarily, not always in English, and almost deliberately not appealing to the gamers seeking their attention elsewhere, which they did get, it just like didn't lead to much.
Boy, matey, I've been shanghaied by a darn splinter! Alright, my creative juices are flowing now!
The animation for Woody during cutscenes was created via motion capture. Okay, no way. Don't fucking lie to me, Sega. But yeah, that should set the stage a little bit, cause weird, creepy, experimental FMV is going to be the name of the game. Well, not literally, the name of this game is The Alias. I don't know what an alias is, but it sure as shit looks dope as fuck. Big, bold, beautiful media player-ass borders that would make even the PC-98 a bit jelly, though it won't admit that.
Damn, son.
Just take a look at this.
Yeah, this title screen theme is a little bit fucking perfect, isn't it? It's a game called Samurai Mech, an actual JRPG with towns and dungeons and vibes and tons of really in-depth systems and crazy menus, all topped off by this lusciously gray border bordering on office application aesthetics with the crispiest, grainiest pixel art this side of the MS Paint graffiti tool, I guess. Not a whole lot else I can say about it, just looking at it, but goddamn, fucking look at it. Which is gonna be the point mostly here too, as while the prior damn son asked you to look at this, I think it also could have gone traditional and asked me where I'd found it, as yeah, not many folks really know about this stuff. Sure as shit ain't many videos about it other than gameplay vids ripped from Nico Nico and the like, and it doesn't have much of a scene either by way of Twitter aesthetic accounts and shit. Hell, I only heard about this through my homie Crow Eye. Dude's been digging and makes cool tunes on his SoundCloud too, but he found this internet archive by someone called Bazinga351, and then from there it sort of began to rabbit hole in and around my Discord hole through amazing sites like Macintosh Garden, who do great and quite frankly really the only archival work for this shit, and the Collection Chamber, who host many playable abandoned PC games with custom launchers that'll work on Windows 10, which is how I played Alice. Otherwise, anyway, in either case, I suppose there ain't much I can say other than what I can show and link down below as I will. But I do hope that this sort of inspires something. I did a video on the PC-98 where I just showed a bunch of GIFs and videos and said words, which then inspired the person running the PC-98 Twitter account, which is great. Probably overall raised some awareness somehow, despite the video being kind of sucky and old and like made in the day, but you know, iPatchWolf digs it, so what the fuck do I know? That's gonna be the goal anyway. Introduce you to and hopefully get people to raise more awareness on stuff like this. The Seven Colors Legend of Sai is probably one of the better known ones, as there's a lot more of the usual resources out there for this one, though no Wikipedia page, likely due to it being the first game by Masaya Matsuura. the creator of Vip Ribbon and Parappa the Rapper, and similar to those, it's happy, peppy, weird, bright, colorful as fuck, and sometimes more like an album with a game stuck to it than a game with a soundtrack, but pretty cool all the same. Came out exclusive to Macs, also before Myst, and is essentially a first-person adventure, puzzly, explory type of game at its core. In some ways, this one, as well as many of the Synergy titles, are pretty similar in playstyle to Lego Island, in that you simply go around, click on stuff, and have cool shit happen, like doing your own DJ sets, or hanging out with a cat, playing piano, and dicking around the coziest little sunniest town. What's cool about it too is that it was published by Sony Music. PlayStation as a brand didn't exist yet outside of scrap plants with Nintendo, but you can tell that they were already trying to do some "oh yeah, the arts" type shit in the early 90s, and they clearly liked working with Messiah too, as he made many first-party PlayStation classics. Along with 7 Colors though, Sony Music Japan also published this game called Eastern Mind. A title exclusive to Macs in Japan and later released to Windows in America, it's also more of a virtual art installation. An artivity center, I guess you could call it. The game's the brainchild of Osamu Sato, a photographer and composer who later would go on to make the seminal "LOL, have you heard of this game, Thor? It's a cool Japan-only game that you clearly wouldn't know about" LSD Dream Emulator, and much like it, Eastern Mind is also one of those just look at it sort of games. Because I mean, well, just look at it. Or play it yourself. As just like Gadget and Alice, it's been repackaged with a launcher installer that does all the work for you to get it running in Windows 10. It's a really cool and interesting experience, steeped in Buddhist philosophies and ideas of reincarnation that subverts gameplay tropes, and also the puzzles are really difficult, not really my vibe, but what can you do? As a sequel to called Shu Teng, that used to be a bit of a lost game for many years, only mysteriously resurfacing on 4chan out of nowhere in 2013. The fucking thing reincarnated itself, pretty much. Doesn't really get more Jogo than that. And finally, I'd really do this video a big disservice if I didn't mention the Cosmology of Kyoto, which also has been repackaged to run off a DOSBox through a launcher and comes in a zip file called cock. Bless this website. Yeah, it's quite the incredible looking game. Cool, twisted, creepy, and downright fucked up artwork framed by all-encompassing darkness, punctuated only by thin, minimalist text and colored lines. It also plays quite unlike anything. You got point and clicky, but also text typey. You create your own character like a RPG, but also it doesn't really tell you shit and just sort of lets you go and stumble onto stuff. You have the whole town of Kyoto at your fingertips after all, and what a weird town it is. It's not just the art neither, as listen to how blown out and abrasive all of the sound effects are. How sad or threatening the voice performances be. And how much just demonic fucking garbage keeps happening around every corner, accompanied only by a constant drone humming away in the back of your head, and nothing but abject darkness ahead of you at all times. This game is cursed as fuck. So cursed that it's probably a good place to put my Patreon backer thingy. Cause like, y'all did this. Y'all made me do this. This is y'all's fault, and you should feel bad. This is now a wall of shame. How dare you people? This is not okay, okay? Look at what you made me play. Oh, for real. Thanks, motherfuckers. You can't really talk about games for the Apple without talking about the Apple Pippin. Well, you could very easily not talk about the Apple Pippin, honestly, but god damn it, I will. Because it's called the fucking Pippin for one. Horrible name. Really dumb. I love it. Good job, Steve Jobs, you dead sack of shit. It also has a sequel to that Synergy RPG anyway, called Yellow Brick Road 2. And I just want to bring attention to the box art real quick, because fucking Strawman, or whatever the fuck he's called over here, has seen some goddamn shit. Mainly that the first game has a Saturn port, which I bought a legit copy off of, that I will now play thusly. Yeah, it's a game. Equally cursed box art too, cause Strawman's still trippin' and the lion's still tippin' on all fours. For family. For girl. There's also this Pippin game called Victorian Park, which has some amazing character models. But really dope box art all the same. And then there's another cool little park that I want to highlight called Jungle Park. Little monkey man going about his day, love to lick associated as fuck, only it ain't. This game luckily also has a Saturn version, so I also bought a legit copy and gave it a big ol' whirl. Basically, it's one of those ain't nothing else like it type of games. You drag the monkey about with the mouse cursor on your Saturn controller and have him navigate places, but also with that same cursor you can navigate the places, and so with that, you get to explore this tulipy little island and partake in all manner of activities and puzzles. From sports to train rides and just taking in the scenery, there's next to no written text or spoken words in it, far as I can tell. And you're simply just supposed to poke around and intuit and discover, much like the monkey do. It's one of those games that I feel like, had it been released abroad on the Dreamcast or PS1, it'd be a bona fide cult classic right now. It just has that vibe about it. The instantly iconic Y2K monkey design is on par with the Parappas and the Samba de Amigos, and it's weird enough to where it almost definitely would have influenced something or other, same way Moon influenced Undertale. But alas, pretty much no one else knows about it. I'll include some further viewing and reading down below, as I've been doing with all of these shits. I mean, I wouldn't have known about this one if it wasn't for this channel called Video Games Esoterica. Someone who hosts stuff on the most obscurest of the obscure, uncovering all kinds of cool garbage, like the hidden secrets of D's 3DO release and shit. And I'd definitely recommend giving it a peek. If you're wondering, by the way, why many of these Japanese Pippin games have Saturn ports, is cause the Apple Pippin kinda sucked fucking ate shit, only having a lifespan of a single goddamn year. There is this one video of mysterious origin, providing some really solid plans for a Pippin 2, which I'ma say, yeah, this could work. Apple, though, would end up alright regardless, continuously flailing and failing at PCs unless you're a rich snob or a hipster artist who thinks they need it to make their garbage, until they made the iPhone and Steve Jobs died and soon-to-be Elon stans all around the world were sad that the billionaire man who cheated his way through life went the way of the Pippin. The bitch's way. But it's no secret that Windows would come to dominate the PC market, even in Japan. Fair few games in this vid do have Windows ports too, released later, though many also don't, sadly, but hey. Hopefully this video shines some light on a few of them, like Horror Tour, look at that CG, or Incarnatia, look at that CG, or Clone Ranger Stolen DNA, look at that CG, and even Windows itself has some similarly cool hidden shit, like Better Dead Ratification. I don't know what this is, but I want it. Or Ma-Ri-Ah, The Curse of the Puppet Museum, which has a title screen that's all like... and gameplay and visuals that genuinely look haunted. In any case, though, once again, thanks to the homie Crow, the Bazinga, the folks over at Macintosh Garden, Zom's Lair, and the Collection Chamber for making this shit even remotely possible to read up on, let alone play. And, as always... What? I don't have a fucking catchphrase. Piss off.